if you could just put out the next TikTok that blows up, if you could just buy the meme coin that goes 1,000x, if you could just hit the lottery, then everything would be good. What a joke. We're living in this moment where everything we see is someone who struck it quick, or we think they struck it quick, when the reality is that's not the way it's supposed to work for so many reasons. I heard a quote that it took a decade to become an overnight success, and I love that. That's the reality. You have to have clarity, you have to have conviction, you have to be moving in a direction, you have to put in the work. And if one of these things happens, how many stories have you heard about people hitting the lottery, going big, and losing it all within a few years? They didn't earn that. They didn't learn the lessons it took to get there. They didn't treat that with the reverence it deserved, and it all went away. We have the ability to do amazing things, but imagine if you spent 10, 20, 30 years chasing that get-rich-quick deal, getting the reel, the TikTok out that blows up, and then all of a sudden everybody loves you and you're set to buy the right crypto. What if you spent that same time consistently moving in a direction that you have clarity and conviction over? Moving in a direction where you have purpose, passion, mission, you're actually working towards something and you don't stop. And it probably doesn't pay off the way you want it to in the first year, first 2 or 3. But what if you kept moving in that direction for a decade? You just kept going through. Every time something doesn't work, every time that you end up failing, learning a lesson that you couldn't have picked up in a book, and you just keep moving. For me, I'm just shy of 4 years since I decided to step into the gym, change my life forever, quit being a skinny, fat, pear-shaped, drunk loser. And it still took me almost 2 years to quit drinking. So I'm right on 2 years without alcohol. And along the way, I was living out of an SUV on a beach in mountaintops in California. I started a business. I'm not in the lowest tax bracket anymore, but this YouTube channel has 40 followers right now. I haven't made my first $1 million. I'm a long way from some parts of this journey, but other parts of this journey, I have smashed it, and it's just the beginning. I mean, my fitness, my physique, the progress I've made is insane, but I'm nowhere close to where I'm headed to. Being just under 4 years into this mission, imagine where I'm going to be in 4 years more. This channel, I had 3 other channels. I had 8,000 followers on one. I didn't know what I was doing. I mean, I have a background in video production. I can shoot videos, but now I have clarity, I have conviction, I have a mission, I have purpose, and I'm just going to keep making these videos day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, and I know it's going to pay off. And the great thing is there's a lot more than just me walking and talking to you. So as we have more of these discussions, as my journey becomes hopefully, an inspiration to you to see somebody who's done some things and is doing some things and is never going backwards, that you get to also see this crazy journey, all the videos I'm going to put out about the time I was out living out of my SUV, changing my life, with all these awesome, beautiful drone shots, out living on beaches and sand dunes and everything, while being broke, while being so terribly uncomfortable, having nights where it did freeze or was close to freezing and I was just shivering and uncomfortable, or it was raining. I didn't have a bathroom in there. I had to just get out in the middle of the night and get rained on just to be able to go to the bathroom. There were all these uncomfortable parts of that journey, but it was so amazing. And something that I've really figured out and learned that is so terribly valuable is discomfort is really truly one of the keys to getting where we want to go. Pushing through uncomfortable things, not going back, taking them just head on. I still don't enjoy legs day at the gym, and that is the most important day at the gym, because I'm in there. I don't want to be doing those, I'm at Planet Fitness, so I do goblet squats with 75-pound dumbbells. Now we're doing like sets of 25 to 30 at the moment, or just leg press, hack squats, whatever. I don't want to do it. So that's the most important thing that I push the hardest and I push the most uncomfortable on. And I don't ever skip legs day, and I don't ever half-ass it. My legs are always sore because I understand that out of everything I'm doing in that gym, that's the most important part, because that's building mental resilience. That's making it so when I'm approached, there's something challenging that happens with my business that I don't know how to resolve. It's leaning on my weaknesses. What I'm doing in the gym with my legs is I'm making it so I can handle that problem when I'm confronted with it with my business. The consistency of the gym has shown me if I keep moving in a direction and never step backwards, my content will pay off. The results that I've created for myself in the gym, I will create results to have a lasting, meaningful impact in other people's lives, to help them find this thing that I've found about being uncomfortable, about discomfort, about consistency, about habits. Motivation is a joke. Motivation is a joke. It is worthless. It's just like that get-rich-quick scheme. Motivation is fleeting. It'll go away. How do I get motivated? How do I get motivated to work out? You don't get motivated. You dedicate yourself to habits, to consistency, to discipline, and then you never stop. You keep moving forward. And this stuff, the things that were so hard, man. When I went into the gym at first, it was so uncomfortable. And now it's just normal. Then I stepped it up and learned how to eat better. And then I started adding cardio. And then I realized I spend more time driving to the gym to go get on the elliptical to do 30 minutes of cardio and come home and burn less calories than spending an hour having a walk that I enjoy. Sometimes it's in really nice, beautiful places. Sometimes it's along busy roads with road construction. But I listen to music, I listen to podcasts for the first half, I get my mind right, and I talk with you. I do something valuable that's building my own future, helping others, and burning more calories than driving to the gym and getting on that elliptical, which I hated. You know, these things, they stack and they stack and they compound, and I can feel it deep within me now that, 20 years of foundational skills, things that I did, that I failed at, I learned from. I didn't learn the lesson that failure was one of the most valuable things in my life. That's when you learn, and that's when you also get tough, strong, resilient. Let's see if I can get this light in. Light is what it is. Through that failure, you keep moving forward. You find self-belief. You learn valuable lessons that you can't learn in a book. You can't learn from anybody else. You gain perspective and understanding that just failure is the best way to learn. And if you have something that works too good, too quick, without some real failures, there's going to be some major challenges that come from that. Oh, we are going to switch arms. Maybe you're still in the even worse in the sunlight for a moment, but my shoulder's about to fall off. So the lesson that I needed to learn with failure, it's everything from going to university, everything I know, it's all, that I knew was just, follow a path that's been laid out. Somebody else is going to solve all the real problems. You just follow directions. They're going to tell you how valuable you are. They're going to buy your life little piece by little piece. Determine your value, determine what you do, and you don't really have to worry that much about anything. Now, there's very little upside to that, and I can see things only getting worse for people who in 2025 are relying on employers, relying on others for their future. It's a scary moment right now to not have that conviction and self-belief and willingness to fail and be uncomfortable and try new things and figure things out. This would be a really scary moment, thinking, well, I have to rely on somebody else because things are changing so fast. We can't even imagine all the impacts between finance and AI and how this is just, things are going to change. And I can tell you, one of the most rewarding things, one of the things, I wake up every morning just stoked. I wake up before my alarm goes off. I get up at 5 a.m. every day because I get to move towards building something. I get to move towards creating self-reliance, creating freedom, and learning lessons. I'm in the middle of some really challenging stuff now. I don't know anything about drop shipping. I've already built with my client a print-on-demand drop shipping business for their apparel. They've got 80,000 followers on Facebook, 30,000 motorcycles we've produced, and passionate fans. I'm designing clothing now. I didn't know the first thing about that. I didn't know about passion, yet I'm the guy who designs it. I'm the guy who gets it produced, and it was uncomfortable. I had some lessons to learn. Same way with these amazing drop shipping businesses I'm building them for them, developing these skill sets that stay with me forever. And let's see, can we get in the shade here? Looks like my head's getting cut off by the sun. We'll go over to this side. You can see all of me over here. And it's uncomfortable. And there's stuff that is out of my control. And as much as I wish I could become a programmer or developer, I also understand I have a limited amount of time, energy, resources, and opportunity cost is just so high. It could take years before I'm truly competent at that, while AI eliminates the need for people who have those capabilities over that time. So there are some times where I have to rely on others to help get to the next step in that. And it is what it is. You know, you have to be smart and understand there are moments, there are times when it's wise not to just spend weeks, months, and years doing something that you could have handled by a person who understands how to handle it. So, you know, having an actual wise understanding of what you can and can't do and what it would take to do the things that you can. So, boy, that's kind of a tangent I'm going off on here. The whole point here was that things are supposed to take time. Things that matter are not supposed to happen overnight, even though everything we see shows that that's how you succeed, that's how you get wealthy, that's how you get free, that's how you get notoriety, how you get people to care about you. It's supposed to happen instantly. But the reality is, you know, the people that I admire most, that I follow, that I learn the lessons from them that they've learned, is that these people all had years, decades of grueling background before they made it. And just because they came out of the blue when I saw them doesn't mean I have the slightest understanding of the amount of time, the amount of failure, the amount of discomfort, all the things that didn't work out as they were paying their dues and they were learning their lessons. But if you have clarity and conviction, I found my mission, I found my purpose, I understand what I'm doing, and I'm just willing to keep on doing it and keep getting better and keep trying and keep failing and not stop until something happens that invalidates my thesis, that says this is no longer the right direction to move. I'm just going to keep moving in that direction. And you know, in 5 or 10 years, having videos like this, when this 40 follower channel has a few more followers, this will be one of those things where I can show you this is what we can all do. These are the lessons I've learned. It's just like the gym. You just got to get started. You're not going to see the results at first. Everything, all these dumb little motivational shorts and TikToks and reels to get you all excited about getting fit or changing your life or whatever, it's a joke. You got to just dedicate yourself to yourself. You got to stay consistent. You got to have good habits that you don't go back on. Make sure I don't get run over here. I was going to try not to do the sunglasses. Discipline, habits, clarity, conviction, consistency. These are the things that matter. Not getting rich overnight, not putting out, following the latest trend to blow up on TikTok, or being smart enough to snipe a meme coin that makes you super rich. Now, you want to be a day trader? I love technical analysis. I love trading. I'm learning about it. But when you watch the people that are making killer money doing this, they've been through usually multiple cycles, multiple market cycles. They've lost their ass. They've lost their money. They've had to rebuild their portfolios. So just because you see somebody who can make a few clicks and make a few $100,000 doesn't mean it's easy. It means they paid their dues. They learned their lessons. They lost their ass. They failed. And they just kept moving until they started beginning to be able to see the matrix. And that's what I want for you. That's what I want for me. It's what I'm doing. It's what I'm working towards. Some of these things I've done, I can talk about it all day because I've got the results to show. Some of these things I'm building, and we're just going to keep talking. I think I can get rid of these again. We're getting close to home here. Maybe I'll, that's my point. I'm going to show you something that'll help drive this point home. I'm building towards something amazing. I'm making good money. I could live a pretty lavish life right now if I wanted to. But I've also chosen to make some sacrifices to build in the long term. And so I'm going to show you my current living situation, which has allowed me to allocate and invest a lot of money that would have gone to rent or expenses. Crypto week with all the regulations was 1 or 2 weeks ago. I've spent the last 6 to 8 months learning some lessons, losing some money, making some money, but just with a brutal obsession with trying to really learn and understand the mechanics behind finance, the mechanics behind money, markets, crypto. Listen to the bull case, listen to the bear case, listen to the people that love and hate every version of assets, and just doing my best to develop my knowledge with the understanding that I'm going to be learning and building through this cycle, so that in 4 or 5 years I have true skills and capabilities that, with the right analysis, with the right purchases, the right entry points, the right trades, the right tools, the right bots, all the right different ways, it'll be just one more tool in my toolkit, my arsenal of things that give me financial independence, freedom, the ability to make sure my time gets spent in the way that I want it to, that's the most valuable. That is creating an impact, producing videos, helping inspire men to get sober and fit, to create true self-belief, and to travel and have adventures and tell these cool stories that I'm going to tell to you. This stuff doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen in weeks. It doesn't happen in months. It doesn't happen in a year or two. It takes time, it takes clarity, it takes conviction, it takes habits, and it takes sacrifice. And so I'll set you up here. Now sometime I'll bring you inside. This building is full of amazing custom motorcycles, choppers, aircraft parts, firearms, off-road motorsports, all kinds of cool stuff that we build, that we work on, custom paint, and I make good money traveling around, riding these custom motorcycles, going off-road, doing stuff with these people, and that's home right now. It's not what I have to do, but I know that by doing this, I'm building a future I'm sacrificing for now so that I can live a life that I truly want to live. And when I'm looking back in 5 more years and 10 more years, time passes fast. That might feel like a long way when you're looking forward, but it feels like it just happens when you blink, when you're looking back. And which would you rather be? Would you rather look back and say, 5 or 10 years ago, I could have got myself into the gym, but instead I just kept eating crappy, kept sitting around watching Netflix and playing video games, and look at me in the mirror now? Or would you like to look back and say, man, when I was moving forward, when I first started into the gym, when I first started getting rid of unhealthy foods or putting down the drinks, it felt like such a long, hard path forward. But I look back and it feels like it happened overnight, and look at where I'm at now. So, guys, love you. Thanks for following on my journey. I want to see as many of you do as well as possible in life, and that's going to come from long, steady, consistent hard work. Instant gratification is a joke. Motivation is a joke. Discipline, clarity, consistency, conviction. Keep moving in the right direction.